For more than 12 centuries, one question has remained unanswered with certainty. What truly happened during the final days of Adi Shankaracharya? Did the great philosopher who revived Advaita Vedanta simply disappear into the Himalayas? Or did he consciously leave his body after completing the purpose for which he had taken birth? Ancient traditions offer different accounts, yet they all agree on one profound truth. Before leaving this world, Adi Shankaracharya had completed one of the greatest spiritual missions in the history of India. Born in the small village of Kaldi in Kerala, he lived for only a short span of life, traditionally believed to be 32 years, yet within those few years, he accomplished what many generations could not. He traveled thousands of kilometers across the Indian subcontinent entirely on foot, debated scholars belonging to different philosophical traditions, wrote commentaries on the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras, established the foundations of Advaita Vedanta as a living tradition, and founded 4 great monasteries in the 4 corners of India to preserve Vedic knowledge for future generations. His mission was never about defeating opponents or gaining fame. His purpose was to restore clarity at a time when confusion surrounded spiritual life. He taught that rituals performed without knowledge could never by themselves lead to liberation. At the same time, he never rejected devotion. Instead, he explained that devotion, righteous action, and meditation all prepare the mind for the highest knowledge, the direct realization that the individual self and Brahman are not two separate realities but one indivisible truth. As his disciples traveled with him across mountains, forests, kingdoms, and sacred rivers, they witnessed a teacher whose compassion matched his extraordinary wisdom. Kings sought his guidance, scholars challenged him, ascetics respected him, and ordinary villagers welcomed him with reverence. Everywhere he went, he reminded people that the ultimate purpose of human life was not wealth, power, or social status, but freedom from ignorance. The greatest prison, he taught, was not made of iron walls, but of false identification. Human beings mistakenly believe themselves to be the body, the mind, their memories, and their possessions. And because of this mistake, they become trapped in fear, desire, attachment, and sorrow. The moment true knowledge dawns, these chains begin to dissolve, just as darkness disappears when the sun rises. By the time Shankaracharya had completed his journeys across India, his work had transformed the spiritual landscape of the nation. Yet those closest to him began to notice subtle changes. His words carried an even deeper stillness. His eyes reflected the peace of one who had nothing left to accomplish. It was as though he knew that the purpose for which he had appeared in this world was drawing to its natural completion. According to one of the most widely preserved traditions, he announced to his disciples that he would undertake a final pilgrimage towards the Himalayas. These mountains were never viewed merely as towering peaks of rock and snow. In the spiritual imagination of India, the Himalayas are the abode of silence, the dwelling place of sages, and the sacred realm associated with Lord Shiva, whom Shankaracharya deeply revered. Every step towards these heights symbolized the inward ascent from the restless world of change towards the changeless reality of Brahman. The journey was not an escape from life. It was the completion of a life lived entirely in the service of truth. As they traveled northward, crossing rivers and valleys, passing ancient temples and snow-fed streams, the disciples sensed that this pilgrimage was unlike any before it. They listened carefully to every word their master spoke, preserving his teachings not merely in memory, but in their hearts. He reminded them that no teacher should become the object of attachment. The true Guru, he explained, does not ask disciples to cling to a physical form, but points them towards the self that is present equally within all beings. Bodies appear and disappear, but truth never comes or goes. The wise grieve neither for birth nor for death, because they know that consciousness is never born and can never perish. This was the essence of everything he had taught throughout his life. Advaita Vedanta does not promise immortality to the body. It reveals that our real nature has always been immortal. Just as space inside a clay pot is never truly divided from the infinite space outside it, the individual self is never separate from Brahman. When the pot breaks, space does not die. Only an apparent limitation disappears. In the same way, the death of the body does not affect the eternal self. As these teachings echoed through the valleys of the Himalayas, the disciples gradually understood that their master was preparing them for the inevitable moment when they would no longer see him with their physical eyes. Yet Shankaracharya never spoke with sadness. He spoke with the serenity of one who had directly realized the truth beyond time. He reminded them that every seeker must eventually stand alone before the eternal question, "Who am I?" No guru can answer that question on another's behalf. Scriptures can guide, teachers can inspire, and practices can purify the mind, but realization must arise within one's own awareness. The light that illumines the sun, the moon, the stars, and every experience of waking, dream, and deep sleep is the same light of consciousness shining within every human being. To discover that light is liberation. To overlook it is bondage. These simple yet profound teachings accompanied his disciples as they climbed ever higher into the sacred mountains, unaware that they were approaching one of the greatest mysteries in the history of Indian spirituality, a mystery that would be remembered, debated, and revered for more than 1,000 years, inspiring countless seekers to ask not where Adi Shankaracharya finally disappeared, but whether one who had realized the infinite could ever truly disappear at all.